Hello everybody, my name is Tyler. A lot of people would like to be in my shoes at first glance, because I was born into a billionaire family, and you know, happiness is not about money at all, as it turns out. Why, do you ask? Well, I'm about to prove it to you. Watch my story until the end, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. How do kids who have everything spend their childhood? Most often, it's rooms full of toys, 1 or 2 nannies running around watching you, a cook making homemade sweets, the best birthday gifts, cakes, candles, and everything in a similar style. How was my childhood spent? Most of the time, it was classes, for as long as I can remember. Most of the day was spent at the desk, with books, notebooks, and either the teacher or myself around. My days were scheduled in a strict regime, just like in prison. Wake up, exercise, breakfast, school, then home, homework, 1 hour of free reading, class again, dinner, shower, and sleep. Everything. My clothes were all white, grey, or black, with clean shoes on my feet, which I always cleaned myself, perfectly combed hair with a little gel, a parting in my hair on the side, sometimes a bow tie or tie. On the rarest of occasions, I wore a white tracksuit and sneakers that were for school sports. My father had a strict temperament. He was very controlling. He had a big business, only I didn't know exactly what he did. We didn't talk to him much, only when he asked about school. I didn't have a mother, she died, and I don't know why, because again, Dad didn't tell me anything. He spent almost all his time at work. It was forbidden to watch cartoons or movies or listen to music in the house, so I read books. When I had a chance, I didn't read a history or literature textbook, but took fantasy. It helped me immerse myself in a fantasy world, and that was the biggest entertainment. Everyone at school was afraid of me. They said I was like my father, as taciturn, serious, never smiling. But I was just good at keeping my emotions in check because that's what my father taught me to do. I had great success in my studies, but still, my father never once praised me, and I got used to that too. Once in class, there was a birthday party for my classmate Zoya. She brought to school a huge cake baked by her mother. Everyone got a piece of it. My classmate sang her a song, hugged her, and congratulated her, and I couldn't get the words out. But tasting that pie, God, I still remember the taste. It was so homemade, spicy, delicious. It melted in my mouth. I felt it was baked with love. Not like the pies our servants made. It was like store-bought pies. They tasted good, but without the warmth. I wasn't used to showing warmth, and the boys thought I was just arrogant, just like my father. They also said we were spoiled by money, supposedly thinking we were superior to everyone else. But that wasn't true. No one just liked me and bypassed me, just like my father. And he said it made him stronger, because friends hindered his work, distracted him from his studies, and he made sure I grew up educated. Son, did you do your homework? Yes, Dad, it's done. What are you doing? I'm reading a book. I have an hour of free reading. What is it? Harry Potter? That doesn't make any sense. But Dad, in the meantime, I'm reading something I like. No, even your free time should be spent in a useful way. Throw that away, take up maths. I need a worthy heir to a fortune, not a fantasy fan. Yes, Father. I never crossed him, listened, and did whatever he said. Whilst I sat behind the books, my classmates fell in love, went out, went to movies, parties, and I was so addicted to books. A few years went by, but I became a teenager, and my father went away on another business trip, and I was left with a maid. When Dad was away, I pulled out the hidden books and reread Harry Potter. I especially liked the chapter where he escaped from the family that oppressed him, and I thought I'd like to be in his shoes. Suddenly my father called. He started scolding me a lot for my exam. You didn't write math well enough. But Dad, I did great. I got a 99. That's the highest in class. Don't be like the rest of them. I don't care how they do. You're my son, and you did 99 out of 100. I demand an explanation. Where was the mistake? Why were you 1 point short? He yelled for a long time and finally said that he was going to come and personally go through my things and throw away all the extra stuff. I hung up on him. I was so angry. I had one single book he didn't find, and that was it. He was trying to throw it all away. How angry I was. It was evening. I picked up some things and took my chances. I left the house secretly from the servants. I walked through the streets for a long time, and I was scared and unaccustomed. I did not have a penny in my pocket, and I did not know where to go or what to do. I just wandered around for a few hours, and then I sat on the beach, and that's when it started to rain. I was soaked to the skin, but I didn't want to go home. Tyler, what are you doing here? Zoe, what are you doing here? I'm just sitting here. You're soaking wet. Get under the umbrella. Don't you have anywhere to go? Did you fight with your dad? You could say that. It's late. Let's go back to my place. Oh, no, I can't. Look, I don't have a castle like you do, but I know for a fact that my mum made a delicious pie for dinner. That apple pie? That's the one. Zoe invited me over and we went to her place. That made me feel like I was an old friend of Zoe's. Her parents said that they had heard about me. I don't know what you can say about me. Zoe said you were one of the smartest ones in class. Sorry to be rude, Tyler, but even though your dad doesn't say hello to anyone, we're happy for you because you're a smart and well-behaved boy. We're glad you and Zoe are friends. That made me smile for the first time. You know, I was sitting at dinner with strangers, but I felt comfortable. They were joking loudly, laughing, telling me things, and I was watching, and I couldn't believe it was possible to live like that. I always ate alone without my dad. At the end of dinner, Zoe's mum wrapped a pie for me, saying she noticed how much I liked it. I thanked her. Since then, Zoe and I started hanging out. We went for walks after school. Sometimes I secretly texted with her through my smartphone. My life took on new colours, and one day I came to school and found out it was her birthday. I wanted to do something nice for her, and I offered to skip one class and took her to the movies. It was a beautiful day. We walked until the evening, then I walked her home and she kissed me on the cheek for the first time. I could hardly stand on my feet. When I got home, my father was waiting for me. He scolded me for truancy, punished me by throwing out my books, taking away my phone, and then throwing pictures on my desk. Are you following me? How did you get the pictures of my walk with Zoe? Is that her name? Do you know how poor her family is? Why are you even hanging out with her? She's a beggar. You don't know anything about her. I know people like that. They're no match for us, son. Believe me. Why should I believe you? You're never home. All you do is fill me up with books. You're not happy with my results, even though I'm the best in all my classes. I sit at my books all day long. I want you to be educated. And I think you only do it so I don't ask you unnecessary questions, so I don't ask about mum, and so you don't notice that you're not home. My father was silent. He didn't know what to say because I was right. He headed for the exit from my room, told me if I was around Zoe again, he would send me abroad forever. And literally 3 minutes after those words, I heard a knock at the window. It was Zoe throwing pebbles. Zoe, it's late. What are you doing here? I've been calling you, but you've been hanging up on me. It's not me, it's my dad. What's up? My mum. Zoe cried and I went down to her through the second floor window and took her away. Zoe told me that her mum was in hospital, that there was something wrong with her heart. She came in to see if I could comfort her. It turns out her mum needed an operation. The family wanted to take out a loan, but they were denied, and they didn't understand why. All the documents were in order. There was almost no time left to look for money. I promised to think of something. I went into my father's office, but he wasn't there. There were pictures of Zoe's family on the table, and of the night I had eaten at their house. And then I found the papers with the letter, and my hand shook. What are you doing here? You know I forbid you to come in here. Did you do all of this? Did what? Did you ask your friend not to give credit to Zoe's family, knowing that they needed money for her surgery? That's none of your business. Answer me. Why did you do that? Zoe's family is very poor. This town is very expensive for them. Maybe they should leave here. What's wrong with you? You're obsessed with money. Leave this family alone. And what's in return? I'll stop talking to Zoe. A deal. Okay, it's a deal. That's not all. You give them $500,000. That's to pay off the mortgage on the home and for the surgery. I'll take the check myself. My father agreed. Zoe's family was grateful to me and I told them I'd won the lottery. Zoe's mum had the surgery and everything went well. I can't describe what it cost me. Zoe was crying, texting me, coming up to me at school, but I ignored it. I was in a lot of pain, but otherwise my dad might have done something bad. A week later, someone came to our house. My father opened the door. It was Zoe. She came into our house and threw a check for $500,000. She said she didn't need the money if that was how I wanted to pay her off, and walked towards the exit. I ran up to her and told her the money was just for nothing, but she yelled that she didn't expect me to be like my father. She was crying and I tried to talk. That's when my dad stepped in. He asked Zoe why she was hanging out with me, and all he heard was, "Because Tyler is the best," and walked away. "But they're poor." "You're wrong, Dad. They're a lot richer than you think." "And how much money do they have?" "Not much, but a lot of happiness." I said this to my dad and went to my room. The next morning my dad came to see me, saying that there were guests waiting downstairs. It was Zoe. I couldn't believe I was seeing her. I looked at my dad and he was like, "I'm sorry, I'd forgotten what happiness meant. Your mother would have wanted you to grow up happy." I hugged him and ran to Zoe. Tell me guys, did you like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Don't forget to rate the likes, share the video with your friends and subscribe to the channel.